jag aldrig drömt förut.
This is Real Music Radio.
Last night I had the strangest dream I ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room. The room was filled with men, and the paper they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the papers all were signed, 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. And the people in the streets below were dancing round and round, and guns and swords and uniforms were scattered on the ground. Last night I had the strangest dream I ever dreamed before. I dreamed the world had all agreed to put an end to war.
And here we are. You know, we could start with Charles Dickens' extraordinary sentence, "It was the best of times, it was the worst of times." You know, and we have, in many of our cases, considerable well-being in our lives. And then at the same time, there's these wars going on for thousands and millions of people. And we can watch the Oscars. You know, I'm glad that CODA, Children of Deaf Adults, won. It's an amazing movie. But then we change the screen and we see the Children of Mariupol or Kiev or places, and the incredible suffering. Heartbreaking. Because it's not just the heartbreak of the war in Ukraine. Long have you suffered, said the Buddha, from conflict and war. It's the pandemic, it's climate change, it's the wars in so many places. As we know, in Ethiopia and Tigray, in Libya, still in Syria, in Myanmar, we could go on down the list. But here we are. This is also called samsara, which is the cycle of suffering that follows grasping and greed, fear and anger, hatred and ignorance and confusion. Those become the seeds to keep it going, and we can see it in the world. And then, as the Buddha says, in war, there are no victors, because it happens to everyone. What then? How do we practice? I remember when I was living in the forest monastery at Ajahn Chah's, which is in a province that borders Cambodia and Laos, toward the Vietnamese end of the south of Thailand and the Southeast Asia. We human beings, said Ajahn Chah, are constantly in combat, at war to escape the fact of being so limited by so many circumstances we cannot control, things that we wish were different. But instead of escaping, we continue to create suffering, waging war with evil, waging war with what is too small or too big, or too soon or too late, waging war with what's too short or too long or right or wrong, courageously carrying on the battle. It's time, he said, to stop the war. And we know where the war starts. It starts in the human heart. To make your own heart a zone of peace. So make your heart a zone of peace.
I had a simple dream, my heart filled with hope, a little more and again than the past. And I may never know what broke those chains. If I don't pass it on, it won't last. Peaceful dream, peaceful dream, peaceful dream. Come and share my peaceful dream. Oh, I know I did complain, even on a sunny day. I know I moaned about some little things, but I kept my spirits up, set aside enough love to keep us dry when it rains. Peaceful dream, peaceful dream, peaceful dream. Come and share my peaceful dream. Oh, I had a heavy mind, now I feel okay. I have more than I need to survive. I'll keep it here for you, so we can make it through all the darkest days of our lives. Peaceful dream, peaceful dream, peaceful dream. Come and share my peaceful dream. Oh, I'll keep it here for you, so we can make it through all the darkest days of our lives. Peaceful dream, peaceful dream, peaceful dream. Come and share my peaceful
Don't get caught in the dramas of the wars.
One love,
and keep them going.
one heart. Let's get together and feel alright.
Hear the children crying.
One love,
Hear the children crying.
one heart.
Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks.
One love,
There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind? Just a Savior's own belief. One love, what a fight is holy, I'm a Gideon, Gideon, Gideon. So when the man comes, there will be no doom. Have pity on those whose chances grow thin. There ain't no hiding place from the Father of creation. One love, one heart. Let's get together and feel alright. I'm pleading to mankind. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. Let's get together and feel alright. I'd to ask.
We begin the day with the seeds of Russia's war in Ukraine and what the world may be forced to read. Today, the UN Secretary General said that the war now threatens all of humanity. He said Vladimir Putin's decision to put his country's nuclear arsenal on high alert has once again made the threat of a nuclear conflict clear and present.
For the people who are gone, Yekba, for the ones not yet born. Oh, for the people who are yeah, for the people. Peace, for the people who are gone, Yekba, for the ones not yet born. Whoa, for the people who are yeah. For the people, I cry when I see that I am born. I leave when I see what I have to do. Cause life is all about all you sitting and looking at me. Just take one step at a time. Cause if you jump, you will never believe the thorns of life that my wanting and waiting for me and you. They make it better say, I want to run away. Run away. Run away, where did Jazzy go? Run away, where did Jazzy go? Peace for the people who are gone, Yekba, for the ones not yet born. Whoa, for the people who are for the people, I cry when I see that I am burned. I leave when I see what I have to do. Cause life is all about all you sitting and looking at me. Just take one step at a time. Cause if you jump, you will never believe the thorns of life that my wanting and waiting for me and you. They make it better say, I want to run away. Run away. Where did Jazzy go? Run away, where did Jazzy go? Mother,
is eating the poorest, the hardest, and planting the seeds for political instability and unrest around the globe. Further escalation of the war, whether by accident or design, threatens all of humanity. Raising the alert of Russian nuclear forces is a bone-chilling development. the prospect of nuclear conflict, once unthinkable, is now back within the realm of possibility.
There's something happening here. What it is ain't exactly clear. There's a man with a gun over there telling me I got to beware. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. There's battle lines being drawn. Nobody's right if everybody's wrong. Young people speaking their minds can so much resistance from behind. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. What a field day for the heat. 1,000 people in the streets, singing songs, carrying signs, mostly saying hooray for our side. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Yeah. Paranoia strikes deep into your life. It will creep. It starts when you're always afraid. You step out of line, the man comes and he'll take you away. I think it's time we stop. Children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. You gotta stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. You gotta stop, children. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down. Stop, children, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going down.
In the midst of chaos, there is also opportunity. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting.
sword and gun. Lay down your soldier's arms. Got to make it right. All we've done. gonna lay down my sword and shield
Down by the riverside, going down by the riverside.
Yeah,
Down by the riverside.
I'm gonna lay down my sword and shield
Down by the riverside.
I'm gonna study one no more. I ain't gonna study one no more. I'm gonna study one no more. I ain't gonna study one no more. I ain't gonna study one no more. I'm gonna study one no more. I ain't gonna study one no more.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment. Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime. Or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development. Yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizen can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
The flowers gone, long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone?
Long time ago, where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the young girls gone? Long time passing. Where have all the young girls gone? Long time ago. Where have all the young girls gone? Gone for husbands, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the husbands gone? Long time passing. Where have all the husbands gone? Long time ago. Where have all the husbands gone? Gone for soldiers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the soldiers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the soldiers gone? Gone to graveyards, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time passing. Where have all the graveyards gone? Long time ago. Where have all the graveyards gone? Gone to flowers, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn? Where have all the flowers gone? Long time passing. Where have all the flowers gone? Long time ago. Where have all the flowers gone? Young girls have picked them, everyone. When will they ever learn? When will they ever learn?
And where have all the arts gone in the schools at the same time? So that's what I'm talking about when I say an aesthetic, a possibility of an aesthetic taming of war, an aesthetic taming. Not only the one of slowing things down in the beginning, because once it starts, it's almost impossible to stop. But could it be also slowed down through an increase of aesthetic culture? So I open that for you all to give some thought to.
Don't take a boy, turn him into a soldier.
teach a boy how to kill. Don't take a boy and teach him to be tough. He will learn that soon enough. Yes, he will. Don't take a boy and bury his feelings. Buried feelings will not make a man. Don't take a boy, teach him life's dirty dealings. Take a boy, hold him tight while you can. Just let the flower grow, and the man that you will know will have the strength of which you dream. And someday he'll be grown, have a mind all his own. Thinking thoughts that run clear, and thoughts that run beautiful. Like a clear crystal stream.
And I tried hard to be proud of my service, but all I could feel was shame. And racism could no longer mask the reality of the occupation. These were people, these were human beings. I've since been plagued by guilt anytime I see an elderly man, like the one who couldn't walk, who we rolled onto a stretcher and told the Iraqi police to take him away. I feel guilt anytime I see a mother with her children, like the one who cried hysterically and screamed that we are worse than Saddam as we forced her from her home. I feel guilt anytime I see a young girl, like the one I grabbed by the arm and dragged into the street. We were told we were fighting terrorists. The real terrorist was me, and the real terrorism is this occupation. Racism within the military has long been an important tool to justify the destruction and occupation of another country. It has long been used to justify the killing, subjugation, and torture of another people. Racism is a vital weapon employed by this government. It is a more important weapon than a rifle, a tank, a bomber, or a battleship. It is more destructive than an artillery shell, or a bunker buster, or a Tomahawk missile. While all those weapons are created and owned by this government, they are harmless without people willing to use them. Those who send us to war do not have to pull a trigger or lob a mortar round. They do not have to fight the war, they merely have to sell the war. They need a public who is willing to send their soldiers into harm's way. They need soldiers who are willing to kill and be killed without question. They can spend millions on a single bomb, but that bomb only becomes a weapon when the ranks of the military are willing to follow orders to use it. They can send every last soldier anywhere on earth, but there will only be a war if soldiers are willing to fight. And the ruling class, the billionaires who profit from human suffering, care only about expanding their wealth, controlling the world economy. Understand that their power lies only in their ability to convince us that war, oppression, and exploitation is in our interest. They understand that their wealth is dependent on their ability to convince the working class to die to control the market of another country. And convincing us to kill and die is based on their ability to make us think that we are somehow superior. Soldiers, sailors, Marines, airmen have nothing to gain from this occupation. The vast majority of people living in the U.S. have nothing to gain from this occupation. In fact, not only do we have nothing to gain, but we suffer more because of it. We lose limbs, endure trauma, and give our lives. Our families have to watch flag-draped coffins lowered into the earth. Millions in this country without health care, jobs, or access to education must watch this government squander over $450 million a day on this occupation. Poor and working people in this country are sent to kill poor and working people in another country to make the rich richer. And without racism, soldiers would realize that they have more in common with the Iraqi people than they do with the billionaires who send us to war. I threw families onto the street in Iraq, only to come home and find families thrown onto the street in this country, in this tragic and unnecessary foreclosure crisis. We need to wake up and realize that our real enemies are not in some distant land. They're not people whose names we don't know and cultures we don't understand. The enemy is people we know very well and people we can identify. The enemy is a system that wages war when it's profitable. The enemy is the CEOs who lay us off from our jobs when it's profitable. It's the insurance companies who deny us health care when it's profitable. It's the banks who take away our homes when it's profitable. Our enemy is not 5,000 miles away. They are right here at home. If we organize and fight with our sisters and brothers, we can stop this war, we can stop this government, and we can create a better world.
He's 5'2" and he's 6'4". He fights with missiles and with spears. He's all of 31 and he's only 17. He's been a soldier for 1,000 years. He's a Catholic, a Hindu, an atheist, a Jain, a Buddhist and a Baptist and a Jew. He knows he shouldn't kill, and he knows he always will. Kill you for me, my friend, and me for you. And he's fighting for Canada, he's fighting for France, he's fighting for the USA. And he's fighting for those Russians, and he's fighting for Japan. And he thinks we'll put an end to war this way. And he's fighting for democracy, fighting for the Reds. He says it's for the peace of us all. He's the one who must decide who's to live and who's to die. He never sees the writing on the wall. But without him, how would Hitler have condemned him in that war? Without him, Caesar would have stood alone. He's the one who gives his body as a weapon of the war. Without him, all this killing can't go on. He's the universal soldier, and he really is to blame. His orders come from far away no more. They come from here and there, and you and me, and brothers, can't you see? This is not the way we put the end to war. Thank you.
And now we have Russia again as our big enemy. You know, there we go. Enemy du jour, I think we should say. And the military-industrial complex is very happy about this. It's been tough not having a really good enemy to fight. And we're a country that, when I looked it up before this talk, if you talk about regime change, depending what list, 20, 30, 40, 80 different countries we have meddled in, from Iran and Chile, from assassinating Patrice Lumumba, from the Philippines, from countries across Central America, from Iraq. We have toppled the leadership in country after country. We, the peaceful American people. And this is part of what Eisenhower called the military-industrial complex, where we voted to defund the State Department, to not create a Department of Peace, and up our military budget to trillions of dollars over the years, and then worry why we don't feel safe.
Come, you masters of war. You that build all the guns. You that build the death planes. You that build all the bombs. You that hide behind walls. You that hide behind desks. I just want you to know I can see through your masks. You that never done nothing but build to destroy. You play with my world like it's your little toy. You put a gun in my hand and you hide from my eyes, and you turn and run farther when the fast bullets fly. Like Judas of old, you lie and deceive. A world war can be won. You want me to believe, but I see through your eyes, and I see through your brain, like I see through the water that runs down my drain. You fasten all the triggers for the others to fire. Then you sit back and watch when the death count gets higher. You hide in your mansion as young people's blood flows out of their bodies and is buried in the mud. You've thrown the worst fear that can ever be held. Fear to bring your children into the world, for threatening my baby, unborn and unnamed. You aim with the blood that runs in your veins. How much do I know to talk out of turn? You might say that I'm young. You might say I'm unlearned. But there's a one thing I know. Though I'm younger than you, that even Jesus would never forgive what you do. Let me ask you one question. Is your money that good? Will it buy you forgiveness? Do you think that it could? I think you will find when your death takes its toll, all the money you
We saw like horrific things like the murdered people on the street outside, like the civilians, and they just was shot. They were just killed.
Where were the gunshot wounds?
Like the chest, yeah, something like this.
And these are people in civilian clothes, for sure.
For sure, civilians.
But civilians are once again paying a terrible price.
Well, almost 3 million people have fled Ukraine since fighting began there almost 3 weeks ago. Once thriving cities are now in ruins. Trapped civilians are running out of food and water, faced with the impossible choice of risking their lives if they stay, or also risking coming under Russian fire if they attempt to flee.
And in the besieged and battered southeastern city of Mariupol, they've been burying the dead in the streets. The UN estimates at least 5,000 civilians have been killed here.
Just outside the capital Kyiv, on a stretch of the E40 highway, is where shocking images from the early days of the war emerged. They showed Russian troops firing on civilians trying to escape.
Bodies lined the streets, some with their hands bound, executed at close range. Others bore the scars of torture.
Wide-scale rape, murder, and looting.
But this is more than just a collection of terrible deaths. It's a crime scene. Because under the laws of war, civilians are supposed to be protected.
Russia's forces have committed war crimes in Ukraine.
This was no military target. The missile strike left behind bodies surrounded by suitcases, a stroller. These were refugees trying to escape violence. Instead, it rained down upon them.
It is important to bear witness to this, to the barbarity of the war.
What did we do to deserve this, this man says? We're civilians.
Looking ahead, civilians in this country are still going to have to brace themselves for bad times.
I come and stand at every door, but none can hear my silent tread. I knock and yet remain unseen, for I am dead, for I am dead. I'm only 7, although I died in Hiroshima long ago. I'm 7 now as I was then. When children die, they do not grow. My hair was scorched by swirling flame. My eyes grew dim, my eyes grew blind. Death came and turned my bones to dust, and that was scattered by the wind. no fruit, I need no rice, I need no sweets, nor even bread. I ask for nothing for myself, for I am dead, for I am dead. All that I ask is that for peace you fight today, you fight today, so that the children of this world may live and grow and laugh and play.
It is 100 seconds to midnight.
For the first time in the history of humankind, there is a limit, a physical limit to our perspectives of development. And nature is striking back.
This is no mere analogy. We are now 100 seconds to midnight, and the world needs to wake up. Our planet faces two simultaneous existential threats: the climate crisis and nuclear weapons.
Mommy, mommy, come and look, see what I have found. A little way away from here, while digging in the ground. Come away, Melinda, come in and close the door. It's nothing but a picture book they had before the war. Mommy, mommy, come and see. Oh, mommy, come and look. There's 5 or 6 Melinda girls inside this picture book. Come away, Melinda, come in and close the door. There were lots of little girls like you before they had the war. Mommy, mommy, come and see. Oh, mommy, hurry do. Here's someone grown up very tall who doesn't look like you. Come away, Melinda, come in and close the door. Your father was a man like that before they had the war. Mommy, mommy, come and see such things I'd never seen. There's happy faces all around, all the ground is green. Come away, Melinda, come in and close the door. That's just the way it used to be before they had the war.
You're listening to Real Music Radio. Keep it real.
Just a little rain falling all around the ground. just lifts its head to the heavenly sound. Just a little rain, just a little rain. What have they done to the rain? Just a little boy standing in the rain, the gentle rain that falls for years, and the grass is gone, the boy disappears, and rain keeps falling like helpless tears. And what have they done to the rain? Just a little breeze out of the sky, the leaves nod their head as the breeze blows by. Just a little breeze with some smoke in its eye. What have they done to the rain? Just a little boy standing in the rain, the gentle rain that falls for years, and the grass is gone, the boy disappears, and rain keeps falling like helpless tears. And what have they done to the rain? What have they done to the
I'm here to tell you, whatever you build will be ruined, so make it beautiful.
Take me for a walk in the morning dew, my honey. Take me for a walk in the morning dew, my love. You can go walking in the morning dew today. You can go walking in the morning dew today. But listen, I hear a man moaning, Lord. I know I hear a man moaning, Lord. You didn't hear a man moan at all. You didn't hear a man moan at all. But I know I hear my baby crying, Mama. Yes, I know I hear my baby crying, Mama. You'll never hear your baby cry again. You'll never hear your baby cry again. Oh, where have all the people gone? Won't you tell me, where have all the people gone? Don't you worry about the people anymore. Don't you worry about the people anymore. Take me for a walk in the morning dew, my honey. Please take me for a walk in the morning dew, my
I've only rarely sung this song in the many years since it was written, because I never thought it would be relevant again. But in the light of one man's bloody and woefully misguided decision to invade a peaceful and threatening neighbor, the song is once again a plea for our common humanity. For the brave Ukrainians fighting against this brutal tyranny, and also the many Russians who are protesting this outrage despite the threat of arrest and imprisonment. We, all of us, love our children. Stop the war.
In Europe and America, there's a growing feeling of hysteria, conditioned to respond to all the threats and the rhetorical speeches of the Soviet. Mr. Khrushchev said, "We will bury you." I don't subscribe to this point of view. Be such an ignorant thing to do if the Russians love their children too. How can I save my little boy from Oppenheimer's deadly toy? There is no monopoly of common sense on either side of the political fence. We share the same biology, regardless of ideology. Believe me when I say to you, I hope the Russians love their children too. Precedent to put the words in the mouth of the president. There's no such thing as a winnable war. It's a lie we don't believe anymore. We share the same biology, regardless of ideology. And what might save us, me and you, is that the Russians love their children too.
War is a racket. It always has been. A few profit and the many pay. But there is a way to stop it. You can end it by disarmament conferences. It can be smashed effectively only by taking the profit out of war.
What is it good for? War, I despise. It means destruction of innocent lives. War means only tears to thousands of mothers' eyes. When their children go on to fight and lose their lives. War, what is it good for? War, what is it good for?
sacred world now wounded, we pledge to make you free of hate, of war and hunger and selfish cruelty. And here in our small corner we plant a tiny seed, and it will grow to beauty to shame the face of greed.
There have been more wars than there have been years of history. The recorded years of history show at least 3 wars per year since the beginning of recorded history. All of us in this room have not had a single year where there hasn't been a war going on somewhere. It is a completely normal phenomenon in life, whether we like it or not, whether we believe peace is what's normal. Peace is defined in the dictionary as the absence of war. In other words, the definition of peace in the dictionary is a negative definition. There's no positive content. It's simply the calmness in the absence of war. War is the condition on which peace is based, by definition.
The Eastern world, it is exploding, violence flaring, bullets loading. You're old enough to kill, but not for voting. You don't believe in war, but what's that gun you're toting? And even the Jordan River has bodies floating, but you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Don't you understand what I'm trying to say? Can't you feel the fears I'm feeling today? If the button is pushed, there's no running away. There'll be no one to save if the world in a grave. Take a look around you, boy. It's bound to scare you, boy. And you tell me we're on the eve of destruction. Yeah, my blood's so mad, feels like coagulating. I'm sitting here just contemplating. I can't twist the truth. It knows no regulation. Handful of senators don't pass legislation, and marches alone can't bring integration. When human respect is disintegrating, this whole crazy world is just too frustrating. And you tell me over and over and over again, my friend, I don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Think of all the hate there is in Red China. Take a look around to Selma, Alabama. You may leave here for 4 days in space, but when you return, it's the same old place. The pounding of the drums, the pride and disgrace. You can bury your dead, but don't leave a trace. Hate your next door neighbor, but don't forget to say grace. Tell me over and over and over and over again, my friend, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction. Oh no, you don't believe we're on the eve of destruction.
Time comes when silence is betrayal. That time has come for us, even when pressed by the demands of inner truth. Men do not easily assume the task of opposing their government's policy, especially in time of war. And I knew that I could never again raise my voice against the violence of the oppressed in the ghettos without having first spoken clearly to the greatest purveyor of violence in the world today, my own government. A nation that continues year after year to spend more money on military defense than on programs of social uplift is approaching spiritual death. Somehow this madness must cease. We must stop now. I speak as one who loves America. To the leaders of our own nation, the great initiative in this war is ours. The initiative to stop it must be ours.
I pity the boy who cannot become a man. Ken and friends look on and wonder, because, hell, they don't understand. I pity all the children who have seen the face of war. We must remember they're no longer children anymore. For all the joys and sorrows that follow through the years, and oh, how many more days till the Son of Man appears. And will there ever be a time when we can put aside our fears? We'll have the truth in smiles, or we'll have the truth in tears.
How I'd love to be a child, with friends spread all around me, playing games and running wild, with nothing more to do than to watch the sun make light, and watch the moon take over from the day into the night. What mighty peace I'd find. How I'd love to be a cloud, floating high above all the people rushing round, with nothing more to do and to make the rain come down, and watch the colors change on the earth to green from brown. What mighty peace I'd find.
The true station of peace is actually not affected by wars or conflicts. It's a place which we have to find close to the infinite, in connection to the presence of the divine. And that's obviously not on many people's minds these days, but it's very, very important that we reconnect, and finding that place above the turbulence means in some way what we have to do is to just control our ego, which is very, very aggressive and wants to get involved in everything, and it gets affected by lots of things. But above that, we have to make it quiet. And the way to do that is to expose it to something greater than itself.
Of darkness, there lies a peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Hoo-ha, hee-ah, come on the peace train. Peace train's a holy roller, everyone jump upon the peace train. Bags together, come bring your good friends too, because it's getting nearer, soon it will be with you. Come and join the living, it's not so far from you, and it's getting nearer, soon it will all be true. Peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train. Thinking about the world as it is. Why must we go on hating? Why can't we live in bliss? Well, out on the edge of darkness, there lies a peace train. Peace train, take this country, come take me home again. Peace train sounding louder, ride on the peace train.
This is Real Music Radio. Stay loose, stay tuned, and keep it real.
Welcome to
Behind my back, my city. In the city, my family, my mother and father, my wife and daughter. I'll do everything what I needed to stop them here. They won't pass me.
Certainly there are extreme manifestations of unconsciousness, and it is sometimes necessary to defend yourself against that in the right way. Everything is connected. Defense may be necessary sometimes if it's done wisely, but unfortunately wisdom is hard to come by in political circles. It seems that as people go into politics, they might even have gone in with wisdom, but then it grinds you down, and it seems very hard to stay conscious once you're in the political system.
What's more opposite to music? The silence of ruined cities and killed people. Our children draw swooping rockets, not shooting stars. Over 400 children have been injured and 153 children died. Fill the silence with your music. Fill it today to tell our story. Tell the truth about the war on your social networks, on TV. Support us in any way you can, any but not silence. And then peace will come.
Looking out my window, peace in the valley just don't come. Though I know that man's my brother and that I'm the selfish one. The hour is getting later, it's time we had begun. Knowing something's one thing, but the race must still be run. Take care of little jealousies and talk that kills for fun. And hold your heart in readiness, it's so easy to come undone. But I think I saw a brand new light coming over the horizon, brighter than any other, and it says all men are brothers under the skin, brothers under the skin. Looking out my window, peace in the valley just don't come. Though I know that she's my sister and that I am the selfish one. And I look at all the people and I love the ones I can. And I wonder if the dream will be or be turned into sand. Still I think I saw a brand new light coming over the horizon, brighter than any other, and it says all men are brothers, all women are sisters, we're all related under the skin, together under the skin. Peace in the valley just don't come. Peace in the valley just don't come. Peace in the valley. You know peace in the valley's got to come. It just might come. If we're together, 'cause we're together under the skin. Peace in the valley just might come. Peace in the valley's got to come.
The real and most dangerous opponents we face in life are fear, anger, confusion, doubt and despair. If we overcome those enemies who attack from within, we can attain a sure victory over any attack from without.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for. And no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will live as one. Thank you.
This is Real Music Radio.
There is freedom within, there is freedom without. Try to catch the deluge in a paper cup. There's a battle ahead, many battles are lost, but you'll never see the end of the road while you're traveling with me. And now, hey now, don't dream it's overhead now, hey now. When the world comes in, they come to build a wall between us. We know they won't win. Now I'm towing my car, there's a hole in the roof. My possessions are causing me suspicion, but there's no proof. In the paper today, tales of war and of waste, but you turn right over to the TV page. world comes in, they come. So feel the war between us. We know they won't win. I'm walking again to the beat of a drum, and I'm counting the steps to the door of your heart. Only shadows ahead, barely clearing the roof. Get to know the feeling of liberation and release. Hey now, don't dream it's all ahead now. Hey now, when the war comes in, they come. So feel the war between us. We know they won't win. Don't let them win, yeah. Well, hey now, don't ever let them win, no. Well, hey come. Well, hey now, well, let them win.
Until next time, keep it real, take care, and stay aware.
Last night I had the strangest dream I've ever known before. I dreamed that all the world agreed to put an end to war. I dreamed I saw a mighty room. The room was filled with men, and the papers they were signing said they'd never fight again. And when the paper was all signed and 1,000,000 copies made, they all joined hands and bowed their heads, and grateful prayers were prayed. The people in the streets below were dancing round and round, while swords and guns and uniforms were scattered to the ground.
To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed. The bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people, and so long as men die, liberty will never perish. Soldiers, don't give yourselves to brutes, men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines, you are not cattle, you are men. You have the love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate, only the unloved hate, the unloved and the unnatural. Soldiers, don't fight for slavery, fight for liberty. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke it is written, the kingdom of God is within man, not one man nor a group of men, but in all men, in you. You, the people, have the power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. Then in the name of democracy, let us use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new world, a decent world, that will give men a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill that promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free the world, to do away with national barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a world of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Soldiers, in the name of democracy, let us all unite!
Last night I had the strangest dream I've ever dreamed before. I dreamed that all the world agreed to put an end to